For some, it was the trip of a lifetime.
I've been waiting 41 years for this.
Others hope to learn what books can only begin to teach.
Everywhere you go, you learn something about the people and about the animals, and it's fascinating.
And still others saw a photo opportunity
I'm shooting at about 500th of a second.
they may never see again. For all these reasons and more, this group from Pittsburgh recently traveled to this small group of islands in the Pacific. They'll spend the next 10 days aboard this ship, the Letty, visiting islands by day and traveling to the next by night. Volcanic in origin, these islands straddle the equator 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador. These are the Galapagos Islands, the home of giant tortoises, exotic birds, nature at its most breathtaking, and so much more. Along on the trip was WPXI TV videographer Scott Dobson, there to document the daily adventures. This is the story of those adventures as these people have traveled to experience the awesome sights, the amazing animals, the incredible history of these islands. This is their Galapagos Adventure. It's sunrise. And after a full day's travel the day before just to get here, the group leaves Quito, the capital of Ecuador, on the first leg of its journey.
Off to a good start here.
After a short stop in Guayaquil, the plane lands on the island of Baltra, where all signs point to being someplace special. After a short ferry ride across a narrow strait, arriving at the island of Santa Cruz, and driving up the one road that crosses the island.
As you will see, there are paths.
Naturalist Veronica Maruri has brought the group to the Escalacia forest.
We can see that the Escalacia is a tree that actually came here as a sunflower, but as you can see, it has the characteristics of having all the leaves on top, like an umbrella, as if we were looking for the sun.
But it's also what's inside that counts.
If you look inside, you can see that there's small birds, and these are the famous Darwin's finches.
Famous for their role in Charles Darwin's studies.
Actually, there's one right there.
When he visited the Galapagos in 1835, he noted the beaks of the finches differed depending on the food sources available to them. These adaptations helped form Darwin's theory of evolution.
I think it's a woodpecker finch. Check that one out. See? Yeah. Look. See. Now, this is one of the sinkholes, and in Spanish we call them los gemelos, which means the twins. Actually, they're not really craters. The magma, which is the name of the lava when it's inside, tried to come up, and instead it didn't actually break through, and the lava withdrew back down, and out the lava went in different lava tunnels. So there was this large air pocket that fell down when the island was cooling off, and this is when the sinkholes were formed. This is the endemic orchid to Galapagos, this one.
There's more than just the animals here that needs to be protected, obviously, huh?
Protected, yeah, the flowers, the plants, even the human species, because we're part of the cycle too, but we can be part of it without ruining everything. We can be. Just need to be controlled on our actions, that's all. Galapagos doves. These are endemic to Galapagos. They have very pretty blue eyes, reddish legs, very tame.
Did they think they were going to get a potato chip?
No, they don't get anything here. We're not allowed to feed the animals.
An afternoon hike reveals what's become to many the very symbol of these islands.
These are endemic tortoises to these islands, and each island has its own subspecies, its own race. And we have about 3,500 or roughly on this island.
Isolation of species can lead to extremes. While some animals on these islands exhibit dwarfism, these tortoises obviously are at the other end of the scale, weighing 500 pounds or more and living up to an estimated 150 years. They do inspire a sense of awe.
Just thinking this is a chance of a lifetime. I've been waiting 41 years for this. It's wonderful.
Is he posing for you?
Oh, he's great, isn't he? You can just sit right with him. Listen to him breathe.
It's so neat to be right up close to these guys that are so prehistoric, and it's just a real treat and a thrill because you know, it just doesn't happen in zoos, and it doesn't happen in Africa, and it doesn't happen in the U.S., but it happens here.
I have the feeling he likes me.
Years ago, these creatures were captured by whalers and pirates as a food source. Able to live for a year without food or water, they would be placed in the ship's hold on their backs until needed. Today, the capturing is on film. And what's being fed is the desire to feel a part of their world.
We're lucky. A lot of people come here and they don't see any actually except at the Darwin Research Center. To see 18 of them in the wild is a...
and I think...
I'm ready to go back tomorrow. This is great. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more interesting sights to see too. Yeah. But this right now is the highlight of... to come and see the Galapagos tortoise and to see 18 of them.
Yeah.
That's neat.
And this is... be able to get this close and get as tight as you want with the
and shots. To get a couple of them, I'd like to pose actually too.
Yeah.
In this setting, spending time with these regal reptiles of eons past, it's impossible to come away unaffected.
It feels like we don't really belong here. We should feel very privileged to be here, to be able to witness one of these great things of nature.
That these great things of nature can survive and thrive is not taken for granted. Animals introduced to the islands by humans can endanger the endemic animals. This boat is loaded down with goats that the government is trying to eradicate. As the goats graze, they can trample the eggs and the young of the tortoises.
Hola.
The Charles Darwin Research Station on Santa Cruz is committed to the preservation of the species.
Now what you will see here are the tortoise corrals.
At-risk eggs and young tortoises are brought here and cared for until they can be reintroduced into the wild. One resident of the research station is most unique. This saddleback tortoise was found a number of years ago on the island of Pinta. In fact, he was the only tortoise found there and is believed to be the last surviving member of that particular race. Rewards of up to $20,000 have been offered to anyone who can find a female of the species, but hope is dwindling. Mating attempts with females of similar species have been thus far unsuccessful, but at a young 90 years of age, Lonesome George still has many years ahead of him.
These tortoises were at one point pets for the people that lived here.
But these tortoises are now cared for here, affording researchers and visitors a chance to experience these incredible creatures up close. Resemblances to E.T. aside, it's impossible not to feel that you're in the company of something very special, something majestic, almost royal, and otherworldly.
I think the uniqueness of the animal life and the plant life, I mean, it's kind of like a special place. We've left Mother Earth and we're in a unique place. It's fascinating.
Coming up, reptiles, romance, and the red-footed booby when we return.